The Tao, Master Ni's guidance for self-cultivation. Master Ni imparts the wisdom of Taoism, or as he calls it, the integral way. His teachings promote a simple, natural, healthy, and happy way of life that lays the foundation for spiritual self-cultivation. Master Ni emphasizes that it is important to first establish a good understanding of basic spiritual principles, and then begin to realize this wisdom in daily life by adopting practices and attitudes that help to conserve, nourish, and refine the subtle energy. Treasure the Tao. I would like to share some very useful advice for your personal cultivation. Taoist self-cultivation is a mental discipline in which every single thought must respond only to Tao, the oneness of the universe. Do ordinary people's thoughts respond to Tao? No, because ordinary people only think about the trivialities of daily life and then wonder why they are so troubled and unhappy. Will they ever find happiness this way? No, for there is no end to troubles in the human sphere. Even in meditation, if you review all your activities and troubles, you will just keep making them recur. What is the method to achieve lasting peace and harmony in life? You must work persistently to reach the spiritual level, even if you have no experience of its existence. Tao is the potency of the universe. It includes all gods, all deities, all divine beings, all spirits, and all souls. This means that all things have Tao as their deep root. Anyone who embraces Tao also embraces the potency of the universe. To embrace Tao is to become Tao, and nothing can be beyond you, nothing can occupy you. In the sphere of life, individuals may die and transform into other things, but the Tao does not change, because it is the change. That which does not change into something else can only be the absolute Tao. Tao is the root of everything, but everything is not Tao. To be formed, limited, manifested, and definable is to be something. To be not limited, defined, or formed is Tao. To use your good mind to respond to trouble is a waste. It is true that the achieved ones know that nothing is beyond Tao, including the trivialities of daily life. However, they never regret anything. They also never really become attached to anything either. So don't lose yourself in the details of life. There will always be some things in your life that you do or do not like, but they are only a small aspect of your life. Life is whole. It is only by attaching yourself to the pieces that you become narrow, shallow, and partial. Do not let your life be cut into pieces by worldly attractions. Do not live for such things, and you will stop segmenting yourselves. A person of Tao is a person of wholeness. He or she embraces the wholeness of Tao, not an image of God, not one single doctrine of any spiritual path, not life, not death, not anything that occupies the mind. By harmonizing with the Tao, you will be aligned with the universal potency. Be a man or a woman of potency, not a person who undermines their life by destructive thinking, attitudes, and behavior. Be a person who does not become a self-robber. Tao cannot be taught to ordinary people because they keep thieves in their own minds. They fasten to their ignorance and the limitations of their own self-indulgence. A person of Tao treasures only Tao and focuses only on Tao. We presume to title ourselves as man or woman of Tao, or a friend of Tao. However, we are all the children of Tao. Unless people clearly recognize the source of their lives, they will blindly devitalize themselves by becoming self-robbers. Man's real disaster came when he lost his naturalness. Things manifest through spontaneity. Spontaneity is the way of living things. Rigidity is the way of death. Unfortunately, people today have lost their natural spontaneity as a result of living amid the contention and rivalry of modern society. The Tao is really simple. It is people who make it complicated. They must awaken from the complications that they have created for themselves and dare to live a plain and truthful, natural life. Zero doctrine. What does zero doctrine mean? The general understanding of the word zero is nothing. So from the words zero doctrine, you might almost believe that there is no doctrine. That is actually almost close to the teaching of the Tao, because Tao does not emphasize any point of view. It is neutral, like zero. It does not hold any particular standpoint which could create a prejudicial tendency. It rejects any possible extremes. Therefore, the Tao doctrine is one way to understand or define what is Tao. At the beginning, Tao just meant the way. Tao is the ancient spiritual education. It was especially emphasized about 2,500 years ago, when the wise people of society reacted to the confusion of their time. In order to help people, they took their wisdom and spiritual knowledge, which was an internal understanding, and put it into words or concepts so that they would be able to explain it to people. And these differences between people cannot be solved by argument. Arguments about Tao usually occur only about words, not about the underlying reality behind them. So far, I have not yet explained what zero doctrine means. I will give an example of it so that you can understand. In almost every classroom there is a blackboard. When a teacher teaches something, in order to help the student understand better, he sometimes needs to draw a diagram on the blackboard. Once the blackboard is all written over, what does he do? He wipes it clean to make it ready again for the next use. That is called zero doctrine. It means to return to stillness, purity, nothing, or zero. Zero means a point between negative and positive. For example, when we drive a car, we can put it in neutral. When we put it in neutral, it is the point of being able to go either in drive or forward or in reverse. It is the empty balance point at which a clear decision can be made. When we teach zero doctrine, we mean to teach you to return to the point of clarity and keep your mind flexible. But if you have already put a doctrine there, it means your flexibility of mind is already given up. You are fixed to that doctrine rather than looking for progress or growth. This is where a person dies if he sticks to it. If you have a flexible mind, you can correct your mind about a situation, renew your mind, develop your mind, and find a new replacement idea or solution. Tao cannot be defined by the differences between what is in front and what is in the back, nor is this the Taoist mind. A healthy Taoist attitude always comes back to the neutral point. For example, once we notice that we have thoughts or emotions towards a certain thing or person, once we have built up any kind of attitude towards something, we always need to put it aside and come back to the zero point. We must always be waiting for change. A stiffened attitude will prevent change or improvement from happening. An attitude of neutral or zero will provide the flexibility to flow with the situation, however it occurs. We cannot hold an already formalized, established, or stiffened impression, memory or record of an attitude that we have already established towards something. Those things prevent positive movement, growth, or change. There is contention and conflict among people on a big scale and a small scale. The most meaningless trouble is caused by holding ready-made ideas. It happens if someone does not return to the zero point, or if someone does not know the value of the zero point. The truth of Tao is the zero point, the point where anything can be produced. It gives birth to all things. Do you catch this point spiritually? It is important for people to have kindness. People can learn from those who have kindness to restore their flexibility of mind. Do not learn from people who produce and hold toxins. Eventually the toxins attack your heart. In the world, we see that there are ever so many toxic-minded people, but few people can restore their fresh, alive, elastic mind. As students of the Zero Doctrine, we truly know the value of the elastic mind. You see, all life comes from no life. All ideas come from no idea. All religion comes from no religion. Everything started at the 0 point. Because things in the world change, there is no reason to hold tightly onto any teaching or establishment that began 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. Only the helpful principles that were taught should be followed, because principles do not change. All good principles can merge together as one good, unified principle that exists prior to any of the momentary teachings that were developed. It is TAO. A good example is any principle which is able to return to 0 once it has done its job. Yet in the Zero Doctrine there is no excitement. It is not thrilling, but it is really truthful. It is really healthy, like eating tofu or soy products. However unexciting, this is my message.